What is going on? RuneScape.com. It is your boy Ojama Garrett's back with another tier list video. Today's tier list, we're going to talk about the activities in RuneScape, and I'm going to rank them here and tell you what is worth your time, what's not worth your time, and how you should be spending your life, and what's good in the game and what's not good in the game, and all the things that you could ever want in RuneScape, and these 10 activities here that I have listed right here. So we have clue scrolls, questing, achievements, mini games, Iron Man, seasonal events, the Grand Exchange, bossing, raiding, PK, and bank standing. Now, this isn't a fully extensive list, but it is a very big macro scale, covers a lot of aspects of the game, and I can do a lot of commentary on this type of stuff and then kind of rank everything out and then whatever. So, you know, this is just another tier list putting together because I'm looking to do a 100 tier list. So, with all that being said, thank you. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Let's hop right into it. Check out the links down below. So, the first thing we have up here is going to be clue scrolls. Clue scroll hunting. So this is I'm just gonna throw it down into A tier because, like, let me tell you what RuneScape's all about right here, just right off the bat. Okay, RuneScape is about making money. Okay, it's a money-making simulator. Essentially, at the end of the day, it's just a big economy game and stuff like that. And clue scrolls are one of the best casinos in the game. So they're hard to get. They are annoying to process. And then you can stack up like 1,000 of them, and then they're either complete dog shit, or you are going to get like the greatest items known to mankind. So it's like that dichotomy creates one of the best casinos in the game for the dopamine drip in your head. So that's why clue scrolls are really high on the list. Okay. So next up we got quests here, and we are going to probably just throw them in B tier. This is kind of like your whatever, I don't know. I never really got into the story of RuneScape. I know it has like a big lore and stuff like that, and there's a lot going on, and it'd be really cool to get into, but it's just, when I was a kid getting into quests and stuff like that, it was very difficult for me to follow along the plot because mainly quests were very hard to do. I don't know, I just maybe smooth brain, but they just weren't very intuitive. They took forever, and I also did start playing in 4th grade, so obviously my like ability to solve puzzles and stuff like that, and the patience to seek stuff out without a guide, not very good. But the lore is there and stuff like that, but it's just, you gotta have a universe, you gotta have quests and stuff like that. You have to have the universe for the game to exist and have reasons, you know, why it all is tied together and, you know, all that shit. And quests do like give that story to the game, but it is not. There's some stuff that quests, or a lot of stuff that quests give you that give you access to making money into the game, that make your character progress and stuff like that, but it is not crazy. Like, it's not the end-all be-all in making money. You don't need a single quest to make a lot. I mean, yes, you do, kind of, sort of. Well, you really don't. You don't, but you do. To make some of the best money in the game, you technically don't need a single quest point. So, just, yeah. Anyway. So now we have achievements, or diaries, or whatever, and I will put those up into A tier, or just put them ahead in quests on B tier, because they're giving you equipment, they give you buffs and stuff like that. Just a lot of things like that. Well, I'm thinking, because this is kind of hard, because like there's certain quests that gives you some crazy stuff, like the seed teleport, you know, the holy reg, you know, shit like that. But like then you got like the arty cape and stuff like that. The achievement diary stuff is very poggers, so it's kind of hard. Maybe they're just like hand in hand. One's maybe not better than the other, but I just feel like intuitively that achievements are better, or the diaries are a lot better than the quests. At least that's how it seemed like to me. And it's a lot easier to complete a bunch of, like, well, you need to finish quests to do a lot of the achievements anyway, so it probably means that the achievements are probably better than the quests themselves. So anyway, yeah. So we got mini games. There's certain mini games that are like super pog. So the first thing that jumps out at me that makes it better than everything else is the Nightmare Zone. And the Nightmare Zone, if you really wanted to, can get your combat up to like 99. You can get max melee in like 3 weeks. You can get max range and max mage in another 2 to 3 weeks after that. So you can pretty much get your account maxed out if you really wanted to, just to whatever. And a lot of people are going to be like, yo, that's not a very good way to go about it. Because, you know, Slayer is more efficient technically. You should be doing Slayer at the same time that you're training your combat, yada yada yada, XP waste, yada yada yada. But, you know, AFK in Nightmare Zone is simply, to me, just better, because like you can, so there's like time in a normal person's day, like most people who play RuneScape and stuff like that, where you can't really play the game. So if you Nightmare Zone and get your, let's say, get your account up to 99 combat, you could do that while you're at work. On, like, what I used to do to get my max and my 3 ults to max melee, max range, is I would just go on Nightmare Zone before I'd go to work, and then I would check them on my phone at work with a remote desktop, and then just make sure that they're still you know, every so often I would just have them auto retaliate or whatever, and that would allow me to, you know, every half an hour or so, you know, it's not perfect efficiency, but that way I was able to get them all maxed like relatively quickly, like within 2 months. I was able to get them all maxed. So like with that, going into Slayer with those stats isn't going to be as efficient, but like Slayer will level, I feel like a lot faster because Nightmare Zone like that. And that's just one minigame. I don't know a lot of the other minigames. I know there's minigame teleport, so it's just like free ways for you to teleport around the map and shit like that too. I just because of Nightmare Zone, I'm putting them up in the A tier too, just because of Nightmare Zone and herb boxes from Nightmare Zone. It just becomes a daily that you make 155k a day or whatever, 200k a day. It's just so, I think that's super overpowered. And you can like AFK it, you know what I'm saying? You do that with achievement diaries to get zap staffs or whatever, and then you're making like, I don't even know off the top of my head, like 400 or 500k a day in like 2 minutes. You know, you go to Nightmare Zone, pick up the herb boxes, then you go get the staffs. So that's pretty overpowered in terms of making money. So Iron Man, let's just slap it up in S tier because like a lot of like the core game, balancing an MMO is kind of an impossible challenge. And really, like, to feel like what's happened is that like the main game has become so power creeped that like, at least for me, it feels like that nothing you do matters. Like there's like your goldflation is happening so much that your bank is just being devalued. I just saw a clip from Autoblock that since he got 500 bill in his 500 bill challenge, his bank's dropped 50 bill. Like, and it's probably because items are coming into the game. There's more inflation than there is deflation for the economy. More players, as players interact with the game, you know, you have to have a positive feedback loop for people to be want to continue to play the game, so that therefore inflation is just going to keep happening. So then that's why I'm going to say Iron Man mode is going to be S tier for preserving like your labor's experience, because you're playing by yourself. Yes, you don't have the ease of access to the player run of economy, so you can get a bunch of like cheaply botted goods, so you can get like a cheap fleshing cape or a cheap whatever cape, you know what I'm saying, or do it really quickly and stuff like that. But Iron Man mode, your labor is your own, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll actually feel the achievement of Iron Man. I know there's boosting and stuff like that for you to like kind of, you know, utilize, but whatever, cool. People do that. They'll blow their money on their mains just to get their Iron Mans, but that's still like the gear you get from your Iron Man and all that other stuff, the upgrades and shit like that, it'll all feel super impactful. Plus you have like group Iron Man, so you could still have like a micro RuneScape experience with a small economy, which would be kind of cool to maybe make a group Iron Man with maybe 50, like a clan man mode or some shit like that. That'd be really cool. I think that'd be really cool for them to scale it to that as well, and I would participate in that. That'd be really cool, having clans compete to get to a certain XP level for $10,000 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That would be insane. And Jagex, you know, there you go, free idea, free promotion for another event, which ties us into our next thingamajigger here, and that is going to be seasonal events. So that's going to be like Deadman mode, leagues, and stuff like that. And I'm going to put that also up in S tier because two things. One, it's a fresh way to play the game. It's a nice way for you to just break away from the game. But it's also a nice little niche money maker to make money with like leagues. I'm not 100% sure how leagues money making works with like the Trailblazer shit. But I do know for a fact that like you can make some bonko bucks with Deadman mode, even though it's not as lucrative as it used to be, because now it's a little bit more widely adopted. A lot more information exists from the big content creators teaching people how to make it. But ever since Deadman mode was around, I've always been like, I'm not a good PKer, but I talked to PKers and stuff, and I like Deadman mode personally as an alternate playstyle in World 45. Deadman mode, I just like playing it not as a PKer, but just playing the game with the extra danger, because it makes everything I do feel more valuable. You know, with it just, you're sitting there and you're just farming blue dragons, just trying to like, you know, scrape some bones up and get some hides so you can train your levels, and you're under a constant threat of just being murdered and your stuff being taken away, and that makes me feel alive. It makes me feel like I just like the danger. You know what I mean? That's why I love Deadman mode. So I've always been hanging out with PKers and stuff, because I would join a clan, they're PKers, but I would supply them and shit, you know what I'm saying? I would just go like PVM and stuff and make the money and join up for like Barbarian Assault and shit. But like, you know, that type of shit, I wasn't necessarily, or I'd scout. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Blah, 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 blah. For seasonal Deadman mode, I would talk to these players and they would want to get a leg up on PKing, so then I would agree to do quest. Like, you can make a lot of money just like getting items for desert treasure. You can just get you can get on there and get the first 10k, and I don't know what the swap rate for the last dead man mode was, but like sometimes you can get swap rates that are like 1 GP to 250, so you can make like 10-20 mil off the first 10k stack from the stronghold of security, and then just dip out. So just by logging onto the tournament, getting the 10k, having somebody pre-swapped ready to go, you can make 10 mil in like fucking 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. And there's lots of different ways to there's lots of good rushes in Dead Man mode that you can rush particular gear so that you can sell it and then swap it away, or you know what I'm saying. Like one of them where you could get like Vesta longswords and like VLS and all those like Morgan's javelins and stuff. You could get those from like Wildy Slayer, so then you can go on there and just do Wildy Slayer with a bone crossbow and then get a lucky drop and then swap it for like 50 mil. Like that type of shit was like the bee's knees, bro. And it's like it's good money making. Like, and it's a nice little seasonal money maker, and any account can do it. You don't need to have like a substantial bank or any stats to rush a good money maker in Dead Man mode, because these PKers are like itching to kill each other faster than everybody else. So it's like, you know, it's an awesome experience just all around for making money and just to take a break from the game. Okay, so next up we have the Grand Exchange, flipping. And this is obviously, for me, if anybody knows me, it's going to be number one. There's no other better money in the game than merching, bro. Like, flip it on the GE, flip it on a bulk market, just manually doing it, going to forums, whatever, man. Like, if you want to make money in RuneScape, it is going to be buying and selling. So check out my links down below if you want to blow up, man. Like, there's good pro tool down there, plus my course on how to make a huge multi-scape farm. I'll hold your hand, save you a bunch of time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is the best money in the game. It's infinitely scalable. It is, there's infinite numbers of paths to take, you know, like different ways to trade, like buy and hold, speculative, day trading, you know, sniping, bulk trading, whatever, collecting, or the collector's market. There's just yada yada yada, just never ends, and there's always a new market. You know what I'm saying? There's untradables that you can't trade, or you can't, there's, what are those called? The non-GE tradables, etc. Stuff like that. It's just going to be the best. I don't have much to say. Like, my content is all surrounding, like, flipping and economy. And I do have a half of mind to just go play other games just to flip on those, and just, like, rebrand my channel into, like, just a financial, like, a MMO financial channel. Because, like, I guarantee that it's probably the best money to make in every single game. Like, you get on there, you get enough cash stack, you learn what items do what, you start flipping. You know what I'm saying? You find that arbitrage, you get going. This is the fucking thing to do, bro. And it's, I don't know about real life. Like, I feel like it's a little different in real life, but I don't have enough cash yet to really talk about that. But I feel like if I got a mil in real life, then buying and selling is going to be probably true there too. Like, just taking big positions and making a lot of money like that. Yeah. But anyway, so next up we got bossing, and nah, boop. A lot of people would want that in S tier, and I feel like this is going to be my like hot take that it's not going to be very not very popular, but it is A tier. I don't think it's S tier. In terms of like everything, I know everybody loves RuneScape. RuneScape is PVMscape, whatever. Jagex, you know, serves the biggest portions. You know what I'm saying? It's just the law of the land. You know, the most paying customers play a certain way, and that's who they service, bro. So it's all, you know, whatever. But why I'm going to say it's not S tier is because it's kind of like a trap. You know what I mean? Like, there is an aspect of it where it is like collection logs, achievements, learning mechanics, and the dopamine you get from like learning new things and trying new things and hunting for that rare drop and getting the collection logs, and everything's all done and neat and stuff like that. But here is the reality. RuneScape, like I said before, is a money printing simulator. Okay, it is making money simulator, which is essentially it is a, okay, I'm just trying to figure out which direction to go with this. So, or first, okay, so there's a couple things I got to talk about why that's important. So, it's not the best money in the game. You know what I mean? I should have probably put it behind GE, whatever, so I can kind of build up to this. But people, like, it is a good way to start making money. It is good labor. You'll get good, decent returns on your labor with bossing because they are the best drops in the game. concurrently, you know what I mean? Like per unit of input, you get the most consistent output. So that's why it beats out clue scrolls and stuff like that, because clue scrolls have items on there that are worth max cash stacks and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, bills, right? But a boss will drop you stuff that is mills, 10 mil, 100 mil, whatever mil. Court beast, you know, dropping Ellie, shit like that. 900 mil, whatever it is that I don't remember. That's been dropping for a while. But anyway, that's not the point. Point is like it's consistent, but so you whatever you'll make money, but it caps. You know what I mean? Like you can only tell your account to kill a boss so many times, and before you know you'll hit the ceiling of that, and that ceiling is a lot lower. It is like where the floor starts with trading and services. Okay, so trading and services are the things that are going to make you the real money in RuneScape. You know what I mean? Like boosting makes onco bucks. Merching, the more money you get, the more money you make. It doesn't stop. It just literally goes up. It compounds and compounds and compounds, and bossing hits a ceiling and it stops. Though you can make more accounts and learn to multi-scape and stuff like that, but that also has diminishing returns, which don't exist on the same level as merching and just like flipping do. So that's just what it is. So, and why is that important? Because people are gonna be like, yo man, but it's fun. When you get to the highest levels of RuneScape, it ain't about being fun anymore. The other part of the reality of what RuneScape is that it is a real life simulation. It is. So in real life, we are all playing. So this is kind of jumble. I know ADHD. I'm just trying to figure out my thoughts. Just trying to do this in one take. So bear with me. In real life, we are who we are, and there is a hierarchy to the world. You know, and you are wherever you're at. You're at a factory, you're at a retail job, you're at an office job, you're at wherever, and you are where you are. And because of whatever circumstances, like you don't have the skills or you don't have the right friends to get the job you need to advance that hierarchy and stuff like that, it sucks. The world is very brutal. What RuneScape is a way for us, for a lot of players, to feel higher on the hierarchy than they actually are in real life, because you know there's the criticism that will be made that people are just running to video games to hide from real life, and in a way you are, because you're trying to be higher in the RuneScape world than you are in real life, so you invest more time and energy into RuneScape. And that's just like, it's just, I do it. I'm not saying it's bad to do that or anything like that, but I'm just saying that is the way it is. So like that's why bossing doesn't go to the S tier is what I'm saying, because it does not escalate you to a higher echelon of the hierarchy that exists on RuneScape once you get to that level. Yes, it can be fun to do bossing and stuff like that, but you will only get so high bossing that you will never ascend now to that 1% of 1% of people who are way beyond the average player. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way I see it. That's the nature of things. It's the reality of things. And that's why this is not S tier, because it does not get you there. So why does Iron Man rank higher than bossing in this regard is because there's achievement. So there's money making, but then money making will get you high into the hierarchy of the social classes that exist in every space. Money making will get you really high, being really rich, but achievement is the highest for males. Honor is the highest achievement, and money is usually a result of honor, but achievement is something you can't buy. So that's why like hardcore Iron Mans, ultimate Iron Mans, ultimate hardcore Iron Mans, all those people, that is why that is higher on the S tier too, because you're getting paid like a social currency that can't be bought. So it follows the same model. That bossing just won't get you there. Like this bossing exists within the Iron Man experience. Bossing exists within the marketplace, like within money making is from flipping, etc. Sorry, yeah, whatever. I probably did a horrible job explaining that, but that was the best take I could have on why bossing's not S tier. So now we get to rating. Rating is essentially the next echelon up just from basic bossing. So like it is bottom of the S tier, I will give it that. Raids do allow you to then break through that barrier that you will get. Raid is the end game content, the results of power creep that exists in everything. You know, there's like singularities in all video games, essentially of this nature. There's singularities in card games. So like Yu-Gi-Oh! If anybody plays Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going through our Yu-Gi-Oh! Singularity right now, where like, you know, the boom, 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 you know, power creep, power creep, power creep, power creep. It's a problem everywhere. Magic the Gathering is the same thing. They fixed it with a different strategy, whatever. But that's why the next level of power creep for bossing exists is raids, and it does go here. I think raiding outside of services, like boosting other people, it does eventually have the same problem. You fall into the same problem. You know, power creep just unlocks like one more nook to you climb up. But flipping and services and trading and stuff like that, that's like business building. That's entrepreneurship. So it has a lot bigger ceiling that is almost infinite, and it scales up higher than anything else in the game. So again, yeah. So now we have PKing. And I don't know honestly where to put this, because like I got a lot of respect for Otoblock and the really good PKers and stuff like that. So like it does, based on my own metrics that I was just laying out, it does rank here. And I don't know, like I don't know if I feel like it's better than merching, just because of ease of access. Like you can become a really good mercher a lot faster than you can become Otoblock. And like a lot of people, so the thoughts that I'm having that people may come at me with is that like Otoblock makes more money than you, and he has a higher achievement than you, so this should be bigger S tier. But I'm trying to think of just in the scope of RuneScape. Like if this was a tier list of content creators, I'd put Otoblock just at the top just because of his deep knowledge of PKing and his well-roundedness for the rest of the game, type of stuff like that. Not to glaze him too much, but I have a lot of respect for the guy. Anyway, but the point is that PKing, I don't know. This is a toss-up. You could just say these two are probably tied in terms of like effectiveness in making money, because PKing, you can get really good at PKing and just scout people all day, and like people just it comes down to like it's an art. It's an art that you can hunt players down and get them for their good gear. There's luring, there's all that different type of stuff. But then you go into risk fighting too, which is then just an entire another animal, and adds that much you know, it's the maximum dopamine you could possibly have. You'll go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. I know I keep shouting out on the block here. He's just got a super interesting story. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like risk fighting pumps the dopamine. Risk fighting increases the amount of money that you can earn by like a lot. But there's a lot of different nuances there where I just can't really separate these two. But it is right up there. And PKing, honestly, too, I think that it is like, I will say this as well, is that it has, I think PKing is so integral to what RuneScape is. And what separated it from a lot of other games is the hardcoreness of the PKing in RuneScape. And I feel like RuneScape neutered it, but like when I was a kid, just the idea that you would die and all your stuff would just be taken by everybody immediately. You know, if you died to a lesser demon, if you died PKing, you know what I'm saying? And just the raw viciousness. It was like Oregon Trail level of like crazy, like the frontier. It was like a new frontier of just hardcoreness, and PKing encapsulates that like frontierman freedomness of RuneScape. And I don't know if that really makes any sense, but I'm just saying like the game isn't what it used to be because they did move away from PKing a lot. And I'm not saying that it needs to only be PKing, but like I don't think there's enough love for PKing and stuff, like shit like that. But the world is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and just cry about it. But anyway, yeah, PKing is based. I'm not good at it. I will say that as well. But it was just something I've always respected. Bank standing, obviously the best. Nah. So this is going to be a little bit... obviously, bank standing from most perspectives would be considered a D tier, but I could make an argument. I think that bank standing is good. You should bank stand. Why should you bank stand? I'll put it here. It'd be too cliche to put it up here at top, but I'm gonna say it's at least A, because bank standing is you getting on the game, and like so in the perspective of like what RuneScape's about and becoming a better RuneScape player and everything about RuneScape, the first thing you got to do is like be on RuneScape. So the more that you're on RuneScape, the higher likelihood that you are going to be doing an activity that will progress your character, progress your social status, progress your social network, whatever. It'll just keep your brain, your environment more locked in on RuneScape, so you'll just have a higher likelihood of just progressing. So there we have it. This one was kind of like more of an abstract one, so I feel kind of weird about it, but let me know what you think down below. Hate it, love it, don't care. Thumbs up, hit thumbs down, and do whatever you're going to do. Thank you guys. More tier lists coming at you. The 100 tier list march. Peace out. Thank you and subscribe. Check out my links.